Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds. I'm Nerdarchy Ryan, and today I'm joined by
Nerdarchy Dave.
Nathan Nerdark.
And in this video, we're going to talk about getting touched by an angel, in a good way.
Jump down the description below where you can find Nerdarchy newsletter, gain weekly tips as well as learn how to game with Nerdarchy. So now that we're tearing back into Volo's Guide to Monsters, which you can find a link to down below, I don't think you can get the sweet special edition cover anymore. Or
unless somebody's eBaying that shit or something.
Yeah. I know Ted's been looking and it's been a struggle. So we wanted to go back and revisit some of the races we've done previously. Like the Aasimar, which there was like a watered down version inside of the DMG. But in Volo's Guide to Monsters on page 104, I believe that is, 104. Sorry guys, it's hard to see in the dark for me. There is a full write-up for Aasimars, and instead of just getting one kind of like generic Aasimar, we get three generic Aasimars.
Three different types of them. Well, so the DMG version was essentially the tiefling with the serial numbers filed off, and this we actually get an original monster or PC race.
Yeah, in the DMG, it wasn't really meant to be an entry for the Aasimar. It was a sample of how you might go about building a new race.
Yeah, a known race from previous editions that's not in the current one.
Yeah, but in here we get the super sweet Aasimar, and I actually like this way better than the Tiefling entry. Mm-hmm. One, because we get multiple sub races, which is way cool.
Yeah, well, in one book, because in later editions, like say the Skag or the Player's Handbook, between those you end up with three versions, right?
No, they're just variants on the same one.
Son of a bee.
Where these are really distinct sub races,
right.
Which is weird because the Aasimar itself isn't really a distinct race. Yeah. All it says is basically you're born to human parents, and but you're born with a spark of Mount Celestia, which is the lawful good plane of the gods.
Yeah.
So basically, you have divine blood, and then something about somewhere along the way you get a spirit guide, which happens to be an angel.
You're Kazoo, basically.
Yes, pretty much.
Hey, dum dum.
So it's kind of cool because you definitely have, like, I kind of equate these to paladins, right? Like, you have your Devotion Paladin, you have your Oath of Vengeance Paladin, and you have your Fallen Paladin versions.
So we're just going to get stuff done how I want to.
Yeah, and so for those three flavors, you have your various flavors of the Protector, the Scourge, and the Fallen Aasimar.
Yes.
Yeah. So...
And one of the things that they introduced new to the Aasimar and to any race really is the idea of your angelic guide, and it gives you some baselines to work off of with that, so that you can add that so you can add that into your game as the GM, and it creates this like powerful NPC for the players for that player to interact with and give you prophetic dreams and stuff like that.
Yeah, I thought it was really neat that it was that's how they communicate is through through dreams. I thought that was a really cool touch to it.
Dreams are omens. You get an angelic guide that has a name, and then there's also a D6 table, so you can randomly roll the name. You can also randomly roll the nature of the angelic guide. And I think I would just make, as a GM, all my PCs have the stern and judgmental one. But there's other ones. There's like a bookish sort of one.
Yeah, bookish and lecturing, compassionate and hopeful, practical and lighthearted. Fierce and vengeful, stern and judgmental, your favorite.
The only one, yeah.
And kind and parental.
Yeah.
And then there's like a list of 6 names to use as well. Now, and these are just suggestions, like, so you could change them around for your game and make them however you want it. The titles for each of the sections under Aasimar are Celestial Champions, Hidden Wanderers, Aasimar Guides, and Conflicted Souls. Celestial Champions is where they basically talk about, you're born and destined to do good. The gods and planted the seed for a reason. They plan on growing a good tree, not a bad apple.
Right. And then you could just buck that, and you can play Isaac Asimarov.
You could absolutely do that.
F you guys.
And I like the Conflicted one the best because that kind of playing of, I'm playing a nature cleric that didn't want to be a cleric, was the kind of like chosen and was kind of trying to buck the system. So I like that kind of same idea with doing an Aasimar that way. Still good, but kind of like, why did you choose me? This is messed up.
Yeah, like you're gonna be kind of like a fish out of water with with this race. all the time because you're born, and it says humans, but technically you could be
you
any
could do
race.
any demi-human race. Yeah, absolutely.
That would work fine. Asmar guides, we already talked about that. That's the angelic guide you get, which is they say generally going to be a diva, but you're the GM.
Total diva.
Yeah.
Like if there's a damn brown M&M in the bowl, they're walk. They're walking.
But as the GM and player, you guys can work it out and do it however you want. It could be something different. Hidden Wanderers is this idea that because you're touched by the gods and you're an Azamar, you're kind of marked, and you have these angelic features, and those that are out to do harm are going to seek you out. So they talks about them kind of like always hiding their nature and being on the DL,
wearing like closed-faced helms and things like that.
Yeah, and hooded cloaks and. Yeah, they're on the bonus points list for minions for the Dark Lords. They're like, if you get this
pretty
guy,
much 10 points.
Yeah,
get extra food and rations.
A 10-point buck.
Yeah.
So yeah, they get their +2 to charisma,
Yes.
and then their sub build is going to inform what they get their +1 to.
Right. So you have the Protector, which is wisdom. You have the Scourge, which is Constitution, and you have the Fallen Azamar, which is strength. And each comes with its own suite of abilities. Like they all have like their main ability of like an aura, where they basically they do the angel version of hulking out,
right.
where they grow the wings, and your wings are kind of dependent upon your nature and your demeanor. The Protector is basically what you would expect, like the on high angel type, right? So you're gonna get wings. You can fly for a minute at a time, and all of these basically reset after a long rest.
Yep. They're like an after third level and a once per day event that happens. So like once per fight, you get to like angel up. And, kick
pretty
some
much.
ass.
And like you said, it doesn't happen. You don't get that access to that ability until third level.
Because if Aarakocra taught us nothing, the flight capability is a game-breaking mechanic. So.
But that being said, like all of them have special abilities, right? Like the race itself, and not including the sub race, you get. Well, they actually have dark vision. Woohoo! They have celestial resistances, which is necrotic and radiant damage. They're not. It doesn't come up a ton, but yeah, I think the necrotic's going to be useful. You have healing hands. They actually have a healing ability that they can use. I think it's after a long rest. Yeah, after a long rest, they can heal their level and hit points. So it's not like huge, but it's extra. And especially if you happen to be like a healing class at it ready, it's just going to kind of give you just another resource to tap into. They can cast the light cantrip at will. They speak Common and Celestial, so they get one of the less common languages. So and then from there, like we said, you get to pick your subclass, and that will determine what your other ability is, your aura, because that's basically all they get. Now, I found one of the fascinating things about them is the section. It's just a really small sidebar.
This like little blurb is pretty damn significant. So it's funny that it's just like, I mean, I guess it is just very relegated to optional rules.
Right.
So
it's like it's a paragraph and a sentence. Falling from grace and rising to it. This is the idea that as an Azamar, you could actually switch back and forth between the sub races. So like I kind of had
I missed that part when
I
I was reading.
It's a sidebar, right corner, like little piece.
So you have the Protector, right? I kind of had this idea for a character in my head from that, like of starting off as a Protector, Paladin of Devotion, and you get burned a little bit, something happens, and this would take a lot of buy-in from your DM, but switching from the Protector to the Scourge. Which, I mean, that's in there, so you can kind of do that.
Which, the Scourge, by the way, is awesome. Like, the idea of having just a radius of radiant damage exude off of you and just fuck everything up, party members, whatever.
Well, not only that, though, they take the damage themselves.
Oh, awesome. Well, that's why you have a bump to Constitution.
And your resistance. So,
so they're only taking half.
Because this ain't Dungeons and Doilies, my friend. You need to put your skin in the game.
Hit points are a resource.
They're definitely like, F everybody, me included. I don't care. I'm spite my nose, spite my face for my nose.
Cutting off my nose to spite my face.
So, like, the idea is to go, from the Protector to the Scourge, and also, get a DM that lets you switch your Paladin oath from devotion
to vengeance.
Yeah. And then eventually you finally, you snap and you totally lose it, and you go to Fallen Azamar and Oathbreaker Paladin.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like first when your wings manifest, they're pure driven, white as the driven snow.
Yeah.
then they're kind of gray and flecked, and then they just turn black and smoky for some reason. Who knows?
These things, they just happen.
It just happens. It's hard to keep a good Azamar down.
This is way more robust than we got from the DMG. This is actually a lot of cool flavors to add to your game and insert if you want to play something different. It's also one of those races that you can kind of sneak in and they kind of blend in with humans. They're just really pretty humans.
Yeah, that's true. So, they're so hot. So
yeah.
Plus to the charisma, baby.
Well, and that's it. And they make really good paladins, because of that plus to the charisma. Or
paladins, face clerics, bards,
sorcerers.
Yep.
And because
warlock.
Yes,
Fiend-packed warlock.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
That would be hot stuff.
Yeah, the fallen Azamar totally goes into that theme easily.
Yeah, so that's the cool thing. Like when you get to manifest your wings, like you could describing what they look like. I mean, you could totally do the Archangel thing from X-Men. Having like just these kind of metallic wings. You won't have the cool cutting people thing unless your GM's really awesome. Unless you do that, or they could be feathery.
If you're a Fey Warlock, you have butterfly wings.
There you go.
What if you were a Warforged originally, but now you're an Azamar? Because we talked about how it's like, the different races. We'd say it's human, but you're really just scrubbing away that entire template and just being. So I think a Clockwork Angel would be really hot.
Yeah, I think there's no issue with that. And also too, like you could just look at the monster manual under the Angel section and see what's out there. Like, what do I want to skew toward? And you don't have to be a diva,
Well, that's true. And because it's an NPC and it's not really that involved in the game, you can go through like all the editions of D&D, and there's a plethora of different angels. And pick one out. Although I don't think you can get a Solar, because there's only supposed to be like 10 in existence. Yeah. He might be a little bit busy.
The Solar is going to be disappointed if it got stuck with you. Although, if you were to do, say, like a good, a Radiant sort of, there's that one Warlock pack that's like a light sort of build.
Yeah.
So a Solar is your patron and your Archangel guide.
At the same time, that would make more.
That would make more
sense. Yes.
Yeah. But he does not want to be bothered. He or she.
Yeah, it does not.
Usually.
It does not want to be bothered.
Yeah, so overall, the whole time I was reading this, I was very excited to play an Azamar, so I am ready.
So the party full of Azamar?
Yeah, party full of Azamar.
Yeah. Make it so. What about you guys? You got Volo's Guide yet? If not, jump down the description below where you can find your copy. Also, let us know what you think about it in the comments. While you're at it, like, share, and subscribe.
You can also check out all the social media links below.
Till next time,
stay nerdy.
On page 104, I believe that is 104. Sorry guys, it's hard to see in the dark for me. There is a full write-up for Azamars, and instead of just getting one kind of like generic Azamar, we get 3 generic Azamars.
3 different types of them. Well, so the DMG version was essentially the tiefling with the serial numbers filed off, and this
because we get multiple sub-races, which is way cool.
Yeah, well, in one book, because in later editions, like say the Skag or the Player's Handbook, between those you end up with 3 versions, right?
No, they're just variants on the same one.
Son of a bee.
Where these are really distinct sub races,
right.
Which is weird because the Azamar itself isn't really a distinct race. Yeah. Monsters, which you can find a link to down below. I don't think you can get the sweet special edition cover anymore.
Unless somebody's eBaying that shit or something.
Yeah. I know Ted's been looking and it's been a struggle. So we wanted to go back and revisit some of the races we've done previously. Like the Azamar, which there was like a watered down version inside of the DMG. But in Volo's Guide to Monsters...
Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy. For Nerds by Nerds, I'm Nerdarchy Ryan, and today I'm joined by...
Nerdarchy Dave.
Nathan Nerdark.
And in this video, we're going to talk about getting touched by an angel, in a good way.
Jump down the description below where you can find Nerdarchy newsletter, game weekly tips, as well as learn how to game with Nerdarchy. So now that we're tearing back into Volo's Guide...
Actually get an original monster, or PC race.
Yeah, in the DMG, it wasn't really meant to be an entry for the Azamar. It was a sample of how you might go about building a new race.
Yeah, a known race from previous editions that's not in the current one.
Yeah, but in here we get the super sweet Azamar, and I actually like this way better than the Tiefling entry. Mm-hmm. One...